Welcome to my demonstration. Today I'll be taking you through IBM Planning Analytics. My demonstration will focus on the two key design intents of IBM Planning Analytics, namely creating an engaging experience for our users and second, ease of use. I'll finish off my demonstration by showing you how you can infuse the planning process with other IBM Business Analytics capabilities, namely decision optimization and predictive capabilities to further enhance your planning process. So we'll start off by looking at how we create an engaging experience for our users. We've done that by infusing Planning Analytics with the latest visualizations and cognitive capabilities. So what we'll look at first is the CFO dashboard. And what we're looking at the moment is the IBM Planning Analytics workspace landing page, built in HTML5, so it works in all the major browsers and mobile devices like the iPad. In the middle here, we have what we call books. These are front-end applications that allow the users to track the data within the platform. So what we'll look at now is the CFO dashboard. So here on the CFO dashboard, across the top, we can have KPIs to highlight how the business is doing. My demo will look like a BI demo for the first few minutes, but everything I'm showing you today has read-write capabilities. For instance, if I wanted to increase total units sold, I could just type in INC 25% to increase it by 25% and write that back. And the system will automatically recalculate our revenue and gross margin appropriately. On the bottom left, we've got mapping technology coming through, so we have the whole world down to a state level. So for example, if I want to drill down on Australia and see how each of the states are performing, we can drill down. On the right, we have a line chart. We have over 20 visualizations out of the box. And we can obviously filter these reports to show different product categories and see how products are trending over time. My demo today will be very much a feature benefit demo. Rather than taking you through a day in the life of budgeting and forecasting, I'm just going to highlight the capabilities of the platform. On the Overview tab, we have scorecarding built directly into the platform. So here we have an example of a strategy map built off a balanced scorecard framework of 4 different areas. These can be renamed and added and removed as you like. At the top here, we have a strategic initiative here called Reduce Expenses. And when I click on this, these are the different measures we're tracking within the system that make up the strategic initiative. And we can track how they're comparing actuals versus budget and if it's how is it trending over time as well. On the right is an example of a custom diagram. So it's not shape aware. You can use any image, just overlay the KPIs across the top. So it could be a retail store layout or a manufacturing plant layout, or an example in New Zealand, we have a picture of a cow with the gross margin for each part of the cow. At the bottom here, we have an example of what we call a historical chart. So the user isn't fixed to a certain time period. They can drill down to look at a day level, or drill back out to look at to a week level and up to a month level. And we can look into the future or into the past. Here you can see in August 15th, we've got a bit of a downturn. The user can double click on that and see more information in the other widgets that make up that figure. So you can see that it's a downturn across the globe. It's not one particular region. And these are the different KPIs that are dragging us down for that particular period. Now let's have a look at an example at a budgeting and forecasting example. So what we're going to do is open the Smart Code book here. So traditionally, budgeting and forecasting is 90% data entry and 10% analysis. At IBM, we're trying to flip that and have 10% data entry and 90% analysis. That's where the value is. So the first screen the user lands on is all about scorecards and metrics. Here we're tracking actual versus budget, summarized P&L, and we can with variance percent status, and is it trending up and trending time over time. And on the right here, we've got an example of a scorecard. On the left is what we call our cause and effect diagram. So you can see net profit is not doing so well. You can see it's not our operating expenses because they're okay, but our gross margin is what's dragging us down. I can drill the gross margin and see what's causing that. So you've got good handling on cost of sales, but our revenue is on the decline. So even before I start the planning process, I know where I need to focus my time. So we'll jump through here to the revenue tab and start updating our revenue plans. At the top, we have a new way of filtering the data. We call it a slider bar, so the user can just move the slider across and view different regions. There is a play button, so it just automatically goes through each of the different regions, and you can see which regions are selling what. A little gimmicky, but if you've got months or years across the top, you can identify how it's trending over time. So what we're going to do is update Florida. And what I want to do now is create what we call a sandbox. A sandbox is a personalized scenario where I can play with the numbers and see the impact of my what if scenarios, and before I commit it back to the system, so no one else can see my changes until I'm happy with them. So to create a sandbox, you click on the bucket and spade icon and go create sandbox. I'm going to create a new sandbox called Octane. And go create that. And now we're in a sandbox. What I want to do now is increase November by 10%. So at the moment we're setting at total channels and total products. And so I'm going to increase it proportionally at the highest level by 10% for all the products and all the regions that we have. So to do that, I just type in INC 10%, and that will push the numbers back proportionally down to each of our different channels and each of our products under this hierarchy. The other thing we can do in here is holds. So if I didn't want to increase retail, but I wanted it to increase internet and distribution proportionally, I could hold retail, come to the highest level. Let's make it 5K at the highest level. It will proportionally increase internet distribution, but hold retail. So it's not an all or nothing thing. You cherry pick the things that you want to apply the increase to. If I wanted to make it 250 to the right for distribution to the remainder of the year, I can just type 250 to the right. It's going to go and update 11 months down to 200 products for every month. The other thing we can do in here as well is use formulas to help us with the data entry. So for argument's sake, let's say for February, we're going to sell 1,000, we plan to sell 1,000 units per day. So that would be 28 times 1,000 units. And the result of that will get written back to the platform. Obviously, we can use divide, plus and minus as well. I'm going to back those changes out because it's made my charts horrible. So the user has the ability to back out changes as well. As I'm making these changes, all its results will flow back to our scorecards and metrics so we can see how we're doing with these changes. What we want to go look at now is the ease component. And there's two aspects to ease of use. One is how easy is it for the user to use the applications, which we've looked at a little bit. And second, how easy is it for these users to create and modify these books? So what we're going to do now is look at this book here called Promotion Sales, and we're going to go and modify it so I can show you how easy it is to add new tabs and widgets to the books. Before I start modifying it, I'll explain what it does. So for promotional sales, it's targeted at sales and marketing managers. Do what if scenarios around promotions they're running and expected sales uplift. So let's have a quick look at the application. The other reason I want to show you this front end is to show you how you can customize it to your own needs by putting customer logos, wallpapers, set the transparency, and so forth. So let's have a look at the promotional sales tab. So on this tab here, the sales or marketing manager can run a number of different promotions, put some commentary around what the promotion is going to be. And then over here, the user can pick either a product or a product category that they want to run the promotion for. And then over here, the user can pick the start and end date of this particular campaign. And then down here, the user can go and adjust the expected sales uplift. So let's say we're going to reduce our marketing budget, and so we don't expect to, so the campaign won't be as extensive as we thought, so we expect to only get a 30% increase in sales. So as I enter that information, recalculate all our charts. On the right here, we're tracking campaign effectiveness. So the purple bar is our actual sales, and the light blue line is our expected sales uplift. So you can see in July we missed the mark, but in October we did really well. We overachieved what we thought we would. So we should drill down on that and see what the characteristics of those campaigns that we ran in that particular month. I'm just going to jump through here to the reporting tab just to show you some of the reporting capabilities that we have. So the first one here, we got a horizontal bar chart showing us the top selling products per region, a heat map, so the darker the blue, the more of the product we sold in that particular month, and then radio dial charts. And across the top, I got a filter on my regions, so I can hit the play button and cycle through each of the regions to see how well each of the different areas are performing. All right, so let's have a look at how we can now extend this application. So to start modifying it, you need to go into edit mode. And what I'm showing you now is what every user can do. It just depends on where they can save it on the welcome screen. Administrators can save it to the shared folder and apply security who can see what. Personal folder, everyone can save their own content to the personal folder. And the user folder is what the administrator can see, which is everyone's personal folders. So the administrator can go into someone's personal folder and promote any applications that we feel that everyone has access to as well. So we can crowdsource some of the building of these books. All right, let's go back, start modifying this book. So what I want to do is add a new tab. You get presented with a number of different templates. We've got free forms, so I can put the widgets wherever I want on the screen, or you can have these fixed layouts. So if you're not so good with the mouse, you could drag the widget in and it will resize to the grid. If you are going to roll out some of these books onto an iPad, use a fixed layout, otherwise it doesn't resize to the screen. So on a fixed layout like this, it would resize the iPad screen and make sure you could see each of the 4 widgets on the actual screen at one time, rather than scrolling to the ones below. So we're going to use freeform today. So what I want to do now is look at sales data by month, by region. Now what we can do is use natural language search to build those reports. So just ask the system and go, show me a report by sales by month and region. And what the system will do is scan the model in the back end and build me a view of that would best answer this description. So what it's done, it's picked up sales from my chartered account dimension, it's put my months on my rows and my columns, and then gives me a series of cubes that best answers this question I've asked it. We're going to bring back the first one it's come. Once the view's on the canvas, we can resize it. You can slice and dice, so I want my months across the top. You can do things like on-the-fly calculations, so by highlighting a couple of columns or 2 or more columns, you can go create calculation. You can work out the average, the minimum, the maximum, the median of those columns, that plus, that minus, divide, percentages, and so forth. If you right click on a column, you can go and sort it ascending, descending. You can do top and bottom filters. You can do conditional formats. So in here, I can change the background color, the font color, or put an icon set. So if you've got color blind people in the organization, they prefer shapes over colors. You can do things like commentary. So previously I showed you writing a value adding narratives into a cell. Now we can actually comment on a value within a cell, just like you can in Excel with cell annotations. So if you right click on the cell and go comments, I can go in and add a new comment. Let's just say hello. I can go and post that comment. It will tell you, obviously tell you what the comment is. It'll tell you the value you commented on, the person that made the comment, and the time and date, because you can have multiple comments on a single cell. So I'm going to go and add that. Once there's a comment, you'll see that there's a blue triangle indicating there's a comment on the cell. The other thing we can do in here is trace the cell. So to give the users a bit more confidence in numbers being presented, they can drill down on the value, what makes up the value they're looking at. So here we're looking at variance. It's made up of actuals and budget. If I drill down on budget, I can see that we're looking at these particular products. So this one here, the 1.6 Elsa Dam, we sold 3.8 million. It's based off a rule, which is sales equals price times units. I can drill down on that and see that we sold 15,000 units at a cost of 248 per unit. And we can see someone type that value in because it's an input field. What I'm going to do now is look at gross margin by state in a map visualization. So at the top here, we can search on what we call views or what we call default views or public views. These are commonly used views like balance sheet, cash flow, income statement, P&L. So if you use the keyword view, I could type in view and I'm going to bring back a view called income statement. So now I'm going to bring this income statement view to the canvas. And now what I want to do is change it from a table view into a visualization. To do that, I click on the blue bar and then click on the change visualization icon. And then the user gets presented with a number of different charts. You'll notice that there isn't a map visualization here. The reason being, the system is intelligent enough to look at the data and only present the user with the appropriate chart types. You'll notice that there isn't a pie chart here either. So if we go back and look at the data and see why it didn't give me a map, the reason being is that my region dimension at the top here has just got Massachusetts selected. So to do a chart just for Massachusetts would just be a blob on the screen. It's got no relation to any other states or countries. As soon as I bring down my regions to my rows and columns, then I'll get that map visualization. So what I want to do is I'm going to highlight gross margin, drag it to the top. And so now it filters the report on gross margin and puts my regions on my rows. Now when I go change visualization, you'll see that the most relevant chart type is now map. So now I can select map, and now what we'll do is map up all the states with the data bit in that view. The other thing I want to do as well is I only want the users to filter on year and version. So you could drag those out. And then hide the rest, because the more filters that you present to users can be a little bit intimidating. So now the user can just filter on year and month. I'm actually going to move them into the ocean to maximize my real estate. So you can see this is a lot cleaner than this example over here where I've only got one filter. So what we're going to look at now is how we can infuse the planning process with other IBM business analytics capabilities. So what we're going to do now is infuse decision optimization and predictive capabilities to enhance the planning experience. So what we're going to look at is this book here called Sales and Operation Planning. So this is targeted to manufacturing companies. That's going to, let me just launch this for it, where in here they can predict the demand using predictive capabilities. Once we've got the predicted demand moving forward, we can then use consensus forecasting, where we allow different functions within the business to overlay those predictive numbers, so we get the true accurate demand moving forward. And then once we've got the demand, we can then run it through the decision optimization engine to optimize our manufacturing plan. How are we going to meet this demand in the most optimal way possible? And once we've got the optimized manufacturing plan, we can analyze the results. So let's have a look at first demand plan. So on this tab here, we're looking at the purple line here is our actual sales or our actual demand, and the light blue line is the predictive numbers coming in from our predictive solution. Now, the way that our predictive solution works is we give it 2 years of data, and we we create a model and it runs 150 different algorithms to come up with the most accurate forecast looking forward. And it does that by checking against the second year of actuals to see how accurate which is the most predictive algorithm, or the most accurate predictive algorithm. And it does it for every intersection within the model. So for example, here we're looking at a number of different products. So certain products may follow different algorithms, and different markets may follow different predictive algorithms. So here, if I drill down on the Americas and look at the US, each product and each region may or may not be using a different predictive algorithm to get the most accurate demand moving forward. So the engine is running at a very granular level to give us some very accurate results. So once we've got the demand forecast coming in, we can now look at to augment these numbers. So on this tab here, we've got broken out into the different regions. We've got the first line here is the statistical base coming from our predictive engine. And then we can have different functions within the business overlay based on their own insights into the business of what they think the demand should be. So for example, sales might come in here and go, right, we're going to run a sales campaign in March and we expect to sell another 1,000 units. And then product management here and go, well, actually we don't think we can meet that demand. We need to reduce it by 200. And then we can get other businesses, other areas within the business to update to the plan. So here now we've got a combined demand moving forward. Starting off with the statistical base and then getting the different functions within the business to overlay their insights. So once we've got the demand, now we need to look at how we're going to go and meet this demand in the most optimal way possible. So to do this, there are a number of steps we have to go through. So first we have to define what is our optimization goal. What is it we're trying to maximize or reduce? So here we've got a few examples. Here it could be product mix deviation, production cost, trying to reduce that, or here increased profit margins. And then we can have more than one goal. So in this case we've got 3, and we can set different weightings. So that, for example, we can say give profit margin a number 1 weighting, and then look at production costs, and then look at product mix deviation. So in this case here, we're actually going to try and maximize our profit margins. The second step of the optimization is telling the system what is the capacity, what are the constraints the optimization engine has to work within. So in this case, there's only so much we can make in each of the different manufacturing plants. So on the rows, we've got our different manufacturing plants across the globe and what they can physically make in each of those different plants per month. So once we've got the demand, the optimization goal, and the capacity or constraints it needs to work within, the optimization engine can then produce us a production plan. So in here we can see what it's done is it's minimized the production in the US because our costs are higher in the US, but maximized it in areas like the Middle East because labor costs are cheaper and it's closer to our markets. So once we've got the optimized production plan, if I go back, we can go and analyze those results. So here we're going to look at a cash flow. So based on that optimized production plan, this is the cash flow. So you can see here on May 17th, we've got a bit of a decline, or we've got a negative cash flow. What we're going to do is try and adjust that by taking out some capacity out of our manufacturing, therefore reducing our costs and hopefully giving us a positive cash flow. So if I go back to our optimized plan, go into our capacity, I'm going to take out some capacity out of Bucharest because it's summertime there, so the employees will be happy that they're going to have an extended holiday, and also there are no trade unions in Eastern Europe, so we don't have to worry about any problems with the unions. So now I've reduced the capacity. I'm going to go and rerun our production plan. So I'm going to go and rerun this optimization based on this new constraint. So it's going to take all the demand, the optimization goal, the new capacity by taking it out of Bucharest, rerun, so it's going to have to rejig the plan around and bring back the results here. So what the engine's done is run through about 14,000 permutations to come up with the optimized plan, which maximizes our profit margin. So you'll see now it's taken out the capacity out of it's taken out the production plan from Bucharest for those two particular months and redistributed it over the other distribution sites, but still trying to maximize our profit margins. Now when I jump back and analyze the results, it will now take into account this new production plan. And you can now see on May 17th, we now have a positive cash flow. So we don't have to go out and get a line of credit and pay interest and so forth. This is a very simplified example, but you get the idea of how we can infuse different capabilities into the planning process. So firstly, bring in predictive capabilities. So we can use based on historical numbers, get an accurate demand looking forward. And then second, how we can use decision optimization to maximize our profit margins and then calculate the results. Thank you for your time today.